Well, hello, and welcome to the In a Flash, The Years Go By podcast, where the Vernon, Texas High School class of 1982 alumni come home to tell the stories that shaped us long after we left the halls of VHS. I'm Ray Gerald, and every episode I have the privilege of visiting with a fellow Vernon Lion to revisit our high school days in Big V and share moments, memories, and milestones that carried us from our Vernon roots to wherever life took us next. These are the real-life journeys of classmates that walked the same halls, cheered under the same Friday night lights, roamed the Lion's Den floor, dragged Wilbarger Street, and watched the same Vernon, Texas sky light up. Our stories always begin in Vernon. Go, Lions! Hello, class of 82, and just wanted to welcome you to this episode of In a Flash, Years Go By. Today, we have the privilege of hearing from Kevin Lindsay. Hey, Kevin, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Ray?
I'm doing good. It's good to see you.
Good to see
All
you.
right. So where are you currently?
We live in Denton, Texas.
Denton, Texas. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you saying yes and agreeing to this. We haven't probably spoken in many, many years, or probably have seen each other in many, many years. So as we get started, are you from Vernon? Born and raised?
My family was born in Vernon. I actually was born in Odessa, Texas.
Odessa.
Uh,
Okay.
Moved to Vernon from Denton area, a little place called Little Elm,
Yeah.
when I was in fourth grade.
Okay. All right. So born in Odessa, and what was that like moving from Little Elm? And Little Elm was still kind of at that time, I assume, was little bitty nothing
It
town, right?
it was very, very small. We lived just outside of Denton. I think we had 300 people in the whole community.
Yeah.
So it was a very different environment than Vernon was. A very small school.
Yeah.
Everyone knew everyone,
Yeah.
and so it was a bit of a change going from Little Elm in the fourth grade to Vernon, and it was a good experience, but it was definitely a change.
Yeah. Yeah. Going to the big city of Vernon from Little Elm.
It
Yeah.
seemed a lot bigger than Little Elm, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Okay. And so what brought you from Little Elm to Vernon?
I think my mom and dad just wanted to get back to the community. My dad had been doing construction in the Dallas area for many, many years,
Okay.
and they just wanted to get back to Vernon, family and friends, and so we made the move.
Okay. And what was it like for you growing up in Vernon from fourth grade on?
Uh, I think it was a good experience. I was a very shy child, so um, it was still a good experience. I just getting to know people is hard if when you're a new person in town, but
Yeah.
we made it, we did it. We had lots of family there. They
Mm.
helped with that kind of transition. So it was a good experience. It was interesting to be in a more rural community. I say more rural. There's not much more rural than Little Elm, but a different
Yeah.
type of rural.
Yeah.
It's Vernon. There's the horses and the cattle, and it's totally different from being down here in the Metroplex area where that's not so much going on. So it was
Yeah.
a different vibe, but
Yeah.
it was a good
Okay.
vibe.
All right. So when you came in, did you go to, I remember fourth grade seemed like all fourth grade was Shive at Shive
Shive,
Elementary. Yeah?
Shive Elementary.
All right.
And
Uh,
that was a good experience because my great aunt was one of my teachers there at Shive Elementary.
okay.
And so I got an opportunity to get to know her in a way I'd never known her before, just, casually. Got to see her as a authority figure and a mentor of sorts, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. And so who were some of your friends in those early years that you were in Vernon?
Oh, my gosh. Obviously, my cousin Charlie Nethery.
Okay. Oh, y'all are
We were,
cousins? Okay.
yeah, we were, well, I think second cousins, but yeah,
Okay.
he was a good friend. Kyle Witt.
Okay.
There were a lot of them. Glenn High. There were several people that I kind of hung out with when we got to Shive.
Okay. And when you got to high school, what was that like transitioning? I assume going from Shive to intermediate and then to
Intermediate,
high
yeah,
school.
yeah, into high school. It was challenging. Like I said, I was very shy. Um, so high school can be brutal, it can be educational, and it can be fun. So,
Yeah, yeah,
and I think I experienced all three of those. I think probably everybody does in their own way.
yeah,
Um, I had the blessing and the curse of having a sister who was 4 years ahead of me, who was a star basketball athlete, and I knew a lot of her friends just because they all hung out together at our
mm,
house. So,
hmm,
that's a blessing and a curse because there were expectations.
yeah, yeah,
But it was good. I mean, I got to know a lot of people. I was blessed by the fact that I got to know my sister's friends, and that was interesting because they kind of look out for you and look after you.
yeah, yeah,
But also you feel like somebody's always over your shoulder looking
yeah,
at you. So
yeah. And your sister's Kim? Was it Kim? Your sister's name?
Kim,
Yeah.
yeah, Kim
Okay.
Tatum now,
Okay.
and yeah,
All right. And she was she our senior when we were freshmen?
she was a senior when I started as a freshman.
Okay. And so were you, I guess you started out as Kim's little brother, I guess.
Oh
That was
yeah,
kind of your
yeah,
moniker. Yeah, yeah.
Kim's little brother. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Did you have other siblings? Do you have other siblings?
Yeah, I had an older sister and an older brother, but we didn't cross paths in school. So,
Right, right. Okay. All right. Very good. All right. So when you think of high school or the Vernon community, what are some things that come to mind for you?
well, I think high school it was a good experience for me educationally. I think they had a great school system. They had some great teachers. I specifically loved my English teachers through all of high school. I had Miss Height, Miss
Yeah,
Jones, Miss Miller, who was tough, but
yeah,
she
yeah,
was an excellent teacher, and Miss Hughes. And I think they really instilled in me a desire to learn more, to read a lot.
yeah.
Um, I think Dorothy Boynton in speech, she helped me a
Hmm.
lot to get over my shyness. And
Yeah,
Brenda Beebe, who I count as one of my mentors, I think she helped me excel in moving forward in my life, getting into the theater, definitely getting over that shyness and that hesitancy to speak and
yeah,
be seen.
yeah.
So it was a great experience for me. I
Okay.
think I had a lot of friends in the classes, pretty much every class, but I've got lifelong friends from Vernon that I still stay in touch with regularly. Many of them were underclassmen, and,
Okay.
and we still stay in touch
All
um,
right.
all the time.
Great. Great. And who are some of your friends that's in high school? Same
Uh,
Charles and Glen Height and
yeah, I mean, I stayed friends with a lot of people throughout high school and associated with a lot of people. My clear lifelong friends were Chris Morton,
okay.
Ronnie Ward, um, Kathy Day, Gigi Gerard at the time,
Okay.
Gigi Politain now, um, Patricia Talley. I had a lot of friends, and
Okay.
I stay in touch with a lot of those friends.
Okay. All
Uh,
right. So those
Stephen
are a lot of
Russell
those.
was Stephen
Stephen what?
Russell was another good friend of mine.
Okay. Cool. Uh, so if you had to describe high school with a phrase or a word, what would that be for you?
Um, Life experience.
Life experience. Okay. And so you talked about some of the teachers that kind of impacted you or at least influenced you. What were some of the activities that you were involved with in high school?
I was involved in speech. I was involved in theater. I did aviation class.
Yeah,
That was that was an interesting class. I had an interesting teacher, and
yeah.
that's probably the main things I did. I also, did things outside of school. We were involved with some doing some stuff with horses and stuff like that. My
Okay,
dad was in the Palomino Club, so I was involved in a lot of that stuff. Went to a lot of
okay.
rodeos.
Yeah, yeah. All right. But go back to that aviation class because I remember there being an aviation club or something like that. But I know there was a class. Is that so? Tell me more about the aviation
Yeah,
class.
it was an aviation class, and it basically you could take it, and it was a 2-year course. You could take 2 years, and you could actually get certified, basically get almost all your certification other than your flying hours.
Yeah.
So it was like a flight school, so to
Okay.
speak.
Yeah.
and it was a very interesting class. I never did the flight school myself. I mean
Right.
the flying of the planes,
Right.
but found it to be a very interesting class. It was something later in my life that served me well because I had to travel for my job a lot, and I was very comfortable going in and out of those planes,
Yeah.
because
Ah,
I knew how they worked. I knew what the way they did things, and so that made it easier on me.
nice. And who was the instructor for that?
Oh my gosh.
That wasn't
Um,
Mr. Hunter, was it?
who was that?
Mr. Hunter? Jack
Yes,
Hunter?
it was. Yeah, it
Jack
was
Hunter.
Mr. Hunter.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought I saw him, in the as the sponsor, I guess, of the aviation club
yeah,
and
yeah. It was
so
Mr. Hunter, and he was a hoot. He
yeah.
was hilarious,
Yeah,
always joking.
I remember him from he taught physical science, I guess. Were we
Yeah,
freshmen? Were we freshmen in that? Anyway, I remember him, but he was just had a real kind of a dry wit, funny, kind of kind of out there sometimes.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right. So we also FFA?
I did FFA. I did well, I think everybody did in Vernon, right?
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah, I
didn't,
was.
but I was the one that didn't.
Yeah, yeah. I took the ag classes, Mr. Tatum, and I
Okay.
kind of being involved in the Palomino Club. My dad and them, we knew the Tatums pretty well. I think it was just natural that I ended up in his class. So,
Okay.
that was a good foundation, good education. Got a lot of hands-on experience with a lot of things I'll never use in my life.
Yeah.
So,
Right, right. All right. So what did speech he talked about it, and drama getting you out of your shell, so to speak. How did that prepare you for life in the future, if at all?
like I said, I was a shy kid. I got locked up when I had to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
So it opened me up. It taught me how to stand in front of somebody and speak and not be afraid to control that agony that people are engulfed with when they have to stand in front of an audience.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I
so
see. That's sort
it
of
was probably the best thing I did for me in moving forward in my life because it took away that fear and it enabled me to really move forward in a very progressive way.
right. Okay. Hey, were you in where were you when the tornado hit in 79?
Well, that was my birthday,
What? April
1979,
10th?
April 10. That was my
Wow.
birthday. And
Okay.
I was actually at home when that happened.
Oh,
Um, and we had gone when we saw the storm was going on, we went to my grandmother's house and went into the cellar with her.
okay.
Um, and so we wrote it out in a cellar over on Bismarck Street.
Okay. All
So
right.
I clearly remember the sound of that tornado going right just a block away from her house.
Yeah.
Um, thankfully a block away from her house.
Yeah, yeah.
It was the most terrifying sound I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Uh,
Wow. Hmm.
it's very scary. You're in a hole in the ground and the door's shaking and it sounds like a freight train's running over the top of you.
Yeah, wow. I did, and the reason I asked is because I was in Miss Heights class. I thought maybe you were in Miss Heights class at that time. But so did you take? You were not at school the whole day, or just you had already done with school and
Yeah,
home?
I got a
Took the
free
birthday
day that
off.
day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Took the birthday off.
I'd taken the day to
Okay,
enjoy my birthday, so to speak. So
that makes sense. All right. So April 10th. So when that comes around, your birthday, does that even uh come up for you? Like the tornado, or is it more just it's just another day, I think.
it came up for a long time.
Hmm.
It was a very devastating storm. It hit my aunt and uncle's house. They lived out on Sand Road, and
Right.
the next day after that, we went out and started helping clean up. And when you have to help drag a horse out of the living room,
Oh,
uh,
wow.
it's our horses,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it was an
yeah.
experience.
Hmm.
Um, it was hard, and for a lot
Hmm.
of years, it was kind of a reminder around the birthday of all that happened.
Yeah.
But when you look at an event like that, the best thing that came out of that is how the people reacted around it. And there were
Hmm.
so many people out there helping and calling and seeing what was going on. And offering
Yeah.
their assistance that is also very uplifting.
Yeah, that's great. All right, good. All right. So when you weren't in school, what were you doing in high school? What were you doing on a Friday, Saturday night, or did you have a part-time
Oh,
job, or
you
what?
know, I spent a lot of time hanging out with my friends, and I think we did the typical things you do in Vernon, where we went on the drag and we drove up and down the street down Wilbarger
Yeah,
and stopped at the Sonic or Hardee's and hung out and talked and just had that kind of fun. And that's what
yeah,
it was all about.
yeah. Same old stuff. Yeah. And did you have a part-time job at all during school?
Uh, in high school, I did a little bit. I worked as a DJ at the radio station for a little while.
You did?
Uh, oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All
Oh
right.
yeah, Kevin Lindsay, KVWC. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even, I don't think I ever. The only time I listened to KVWC was maybe football games or something, but I don't remember listening like I was on KQ 106 or some music, whatever. But
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, they had some limitations, and
yeah.
but it was fun. It was an experience, and yeah, I worked the weekend shift, so I worked Friday nights and Saturday nights, and then Sunday mornings.
Okay.
So
And what
on
would you
Sunday mornings,
yeah, go
I
ahead,
would
sorry.
record all the church services. So
Yeah?
yeah.
Okay. And so being what was that in your junior, senior year? And I'm wondering because you talked about being a shy kid, but now you don't have to speak in front of people, but it's a microphone, I assume, and so you don't have an audience, a visual audience. How was that? What was that like for you speaking on the
Well,
over the air?
I attribute a little bit of that to Brenda Beebe. I mean, you learn in theater to use your imagination to kind of put yourself in an environment. So when I was sitting there at the radio station in a room, totally by myself, totally isolated,
Yeah.
I just pretended I was talking to somebody like you, and I would just talk, and
Okay.
that's the way you do it. You just talk,
Yeah.
and you got a listener out there, and you just have the conversation in your head.
Wow. Okay. And so what are some of the things, so the Friday, Saturday nights and Sunday mornings, what are you giving the news reports? You're just playing a song and in between, or how does that work being a
Okay,
DJ
well,
on the radio?
yeah, you queue up your songs. You have, I think we had to read the news at the quarter hour.
Okay.
So, it's a brief news read that we would have to do. And we always had our songs queued up, and you just rolled through it. On Sunday mornings, it was a lot of, I would start the church services. We broadcast certain church service live. So I would have to hook into that. And then I would go into the recording studio and I would do recordings of, for the week of different things that they would have to plug in on the tape decks during the
Yeah.
week. So commercials, I
Wow.
would do commercials. I would re-record some of the tapes onto the cassettes, things like
Okay.
that.
Wow. All right. I had no idea you were there. Maybe I should have known that. I don't remember that. Wow. And so you're in there by yourself. There's no other, I assume you had a manager or somebody was there.
90% of the time you were alone. Sometimes the studio manager and owner would be there recording stuff. Uh, One of the most interesting things going on there to me was when we would do the broadcast for the live baseball games,
Oh, okay.
because he would come into the studio and he would be listening to the baseball game from an on-site,
Okay.
and he would recreate a lot of the stuff. So he would be sitting there with his pencils, and when somebody made a hit, he would crack his pencils together to make it sound like a bat. And I got a tickle out of that. I would sit and laugh and enjoy watching him do that because it was fun, and it was pretty creative the way they did that, because they
Yeah.
couldn't do it literally as live and get that experience.
Right, right. And so, well, who was the station manager or owner of
Um,
KBWC back then?
Kalmbach was the station manager, and I
Okay.
think he eventually became the owner, but it was his father-in-law, and I can't remember his name
Oh,
off the
okay.
top of my head.
Okay. All right. Mike Klappenball was the manager at the
Yeah,
time. Yeah.
Clacking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And consequently, my aunt Gloria had worked at the radio station when she was young. And I never knew
Yeah,
that until I got
man.
the job there. So it was interesting to hear
It's a
that.
family business.
Yeah.
All right. So what is your in addition to that, the sound of the bat the bat hitting the ball. Uh, did you have any like clubs or oops, I played the wrong commercial or anything that you made like a major mistake that they kind of had an issue with
No,
it?
not really. I mean, I didn't make the commercials. I just had to record them. That was
Yeah.
something the manager and the owner did.
Okay.
So I wasn't really doing that part of it.
You're just playing them, hitting the button.
I was
But
the
any
technician. Yeah, they
yeah. But
hire you as a
any
DJ and you become a technician. So
okay, all right.
yeah.
But any like I played that at the wrong time or too soon or not soon enough or dead space or whatever, anything like
Oh,
that?
the worst thing is when you think you turned off the mic and you didn't, and you're sitting there talking to somebody. Because a lot of times the other DJs would be leaving or coming in, so they might hang around for a few minutes,
Yeah, yeah.
and so yeah, I think Susan Graham was training me, and I forgot to turn off the mic, and we sat there and had about a 10-minute conversation over songs, and somebody finally called and said, you're both on the air." It's quite embarrassing, but it was early on in the learning process. So
Yeah, yeah. And so now you can look back and laugh. I would have been at the time. I probably would have been so mortified, like, oh, because I made a mistake. But then 40 years later, like that's maybe even 4 minutes later, it's funny.
yeah. Oh
Uh,
yeah.
uh,
Our most embarrassing stories become our most interesting ones when you get older.
yeah, exactly. And so, what part of high school had the biggest impact on you? I mean, you kind of mentioned a little bit about maybe speech or drama, but is there a big impact for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think English classes. Like I
Yeah,
said, it kind of fit into what I like to do. I love to read, um, and the speech and the drama, getting up and performing in front of people. There's a real charge to that. It creates an energy,
yeah,
and it's to me it was much better than going out and drinking a beer or anything like that. I mean, I was never a big drinker, but getting up and performing, that was a high. That was a feeling you could get, and it just took you to a different place.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Okay. All right. Well, you were in the senior play. Didn't you have a pretty big part? I seem to recall you were like an artist or the painter or the
I, I
Tony.
was I was the painter in the senior high class
Yeah,
play,
yeah,
and it was not a huge part, but it was relatively good. One of the things about that is not only did I get to play the artist, but the portrait of Mickey Lovelace I actually
yeah,
drew. I
yeah.
actually I actually did the art for that. So it was kind of a twofold thing I got to do there, where not
Okay.
only did I act, I got to actually create the piece
Yeah,
that
yeah.
went on stage with that.
Okay. I seem to recall, I have this scrapbook of high school stuff, and there's a picture. I think we were in the newspaper, and it's you're in there, and you're standing behind, like Mickey's talking to Jody as the police officer, and you're
Hmm.
standing next to Jody, and Starlin is standing behind me and Roy, and we're on our knees behind a painting. But in the background, I wonder if that's the picture you're talking about. There's somebody with their face. I wonder if was it a sketch, like a
Yeah.
pencil sketch kind of?
It was a pencil sketch, yeah,
Yeah.
and it was of Mickey in the magician outfit. He had the beard. We put the
Yeah.
beard on him, and it was Mickey in that drawing. And after we finished the play, his mom requested that drawing.
Yeah.
So as far as I know, she got that from the show when we
Wow.
finished.
That's
So
awesome. Well, cool. That's great. Were you in a one act play too?
oh yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
was in the one act play Trojan Women that we advanced to regions, I believe.
Yeah.
And I played Poseidon, god of the sea, and then also came back on later as a foot soldier. So
Okay. Was that senior year?
senior year, yeah.
Yeah. And I remember, I don't know if it was, I think Linda was talking about how she and she and Angie didn't want to advance or try to, I don't know if that's the same, I assume that's the same year, but try to like get out of out of doing well. And apparently y'all did well, so it went off to regionals, I
Yeah,
guess.
we
And
did really well in the district, and we
yeah.
advanced to regions, and I think we did okay at Regions, but yeah, it was. I think we were all getting a little tired of the show.
Yeah,
It was a Greek tragedy, and
yeah,
we did a good job on it, and I think it was very artistic. A type of show like that wears on you after time.
yeah. Were you in
But
the
yeah, I had
junior?
a great time with Linda and Angie and all those Trojan women that we had in that play.
Wow. Were you in the junior year? Because I remember being in one act in junior year. I wasn't in senior year, but were you in that as well? Were
No,
you
I didn't do that in my
stagehand or
junior
anything like
year.
that?
No.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. So when you graduate high school, first of all, did you know in high school this is what I want to do in my career or my life? Did you have a certain direction?
I think I had an idea I wanted to pursue it, but I wasn't 100% sure about that. I think I got a scholarship at Vernon Regional Junior College for theater.
Okay.
So I went there, and that's where I really embraced it and really started really working towards doing something with it. Um, Kay Cook was my director there. She was good friends with Brenda Beebe, so I had that connection, and I had a lot of great opportunities there, both on stage and off stage. The RJC, I was one of the ambassadors, one of the first ambassadors in their ambassador program, which was very interesting because I got to go out and recruit. And so we would go to the high schools and we would recruit people to the college, and that was
Yeah.
very interesting to do as well. So
Yeah. Okay. So that's what an ambassador did was kind of go out and kind of pump up the RJC.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it was exactly that. It was getting people to come there and be a part of the RJC, and
Okay.
it was a good time to be at VRJC because they were growing and they
Yeah.
were really trying to expand, and so that was a really good experience.
Yeah. And how far out would you guys go in terms of the high school, the location
Well, I think we
radius?
stuck to the area. We
Okay.
we didn't go like to other states or anything, but Wichita Falls, Crowell, all around the surrounding
Yeah.
area,
All right.
up into
So,
Oklahoma a little bit.
okay.
So yeah, probably within about a 50 to 100-mile radius.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I didn't even know they had ambassadors.
Oh yeah.
That's interesting. So I assume that when you talked about it in high school, you thought you wanted to pursue something in theater, in the fine arts, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Which
Kind of made me move in that direction, working in the theater class, being in
Okay.
speech. It definitely moved me in that direction.
All right.
Um, that's why I say I went to VRJC on a theater scholarship. Um, there, I was very fortunate to be in some really good shows. I was in a show where I won a national acting award and also won a national set design award. So that was
Really?
exciting, and that kind of flowed into what I was looking at doing. I was really looking at doing a lot of the technical theater stuff.
Okay. Behind the
So
curtain type stuff, not on stage.
yeah, set design, lighting, sound, all of that stuff. So, but I really love the acting because it was an opportunity to express myself and to feel that charge, like I talked about earlier, that
Yeah.
energy you get from being on
Yeah.
stage.
So what was the national award? That sounds like a pretty big deal.
It was. We went to Texas Tech at a theater festival, and we did two shows. We did the Fantastics, which I was in, and we also did one called Spoon River Anthology. And in Spoon River Anthology, it's a bunch of dead people sitting on stage telling their
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I played about 8 characters in that show, and that's the one I actually won the acting award for. And it was an award called an Irene Ryan. So Irene Ryan was the woman who played Granny on the Beverly
Yeah.
Hillbillies,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Okay.
she had established this program for people to get scholarship. So from there, I got the Irene Ryan nomination. I had to go and perform at another contest, not really a contest, but it was the tryout, the official
All right.
tryout for the scholarship, and so that was a great experience getting to do that.
Oh, that's great. All right. All right. So graduation off to VRJC for 2 years.
Theater. I went to from VRJC. I went to Eastern New Mexico University, on a theater
Portales? Is
scholarship
that Portales, New Mexico?
for Taos, New Mexico. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
I got a story
surrounded by
about
sand.
Portales. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
That's eastern, southeastern. Where is that in New
it's
Mexico?
Eastern New Mexico University,
Yeah.
south of south of nowhere. It's in the middle of
Just
nowhere. It really is out in the middle
just
of
kind of over the state line, so to
yeah,
speak.
just over the
But
state lines,
yeah,
and so we were close to Lubbock. We were
yeah, yeah,
close to a few things, but yeah, it's out in the middle of the desert. Literally a small town, a lot of
yeah,
sand, but a lot of good people too. I had a great experience there at college.
yeah. What led you to Eastern New Mexico State?
They paid me.
Oh,
They gave
yeah,
me money. They paid my scholarship. I didn't have to pay a dime in my school.
yeah,
So,
really.
uh,
Is
so
that
yeah,
from your experience at VRJC? They saw it something that you
yeah. One of the directors there was Kay Cook's mentor,
okay,
and he had come down to judge some one act contest, and he watched we performed for the one act contest people when
okay,
they would compete, and we did a show for them at the end of the thing. So
okay.
he saw me perform, and he offered me scholarships. And he had already
Wow.
seen my artwork that I'd done for different shows. I'd done several set designs, so he had seen that, so he liked that as well. So yeah, they offered me a scholarship, and so I went.
That's awesome. All right. And so what were you majoring in? Oh,
In
what's your
theater,
major?
fine arts. I
Theater.
got a degree in fine arts.
Okay.
It was both in acting and in set and sound, all the
Okay.
technical aspects. So
Okay. All right. All right. Very good. So, hey, before we move into your career after school, do you want to take the 2 minute drill where you answer a couple of questions in terms of preferences, that kind of stuff?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. All right. We'll take this real quick. I've been given. I don't know if you've seen any of these before, but kind of give these binary choices or maybe a couple of answers. And if you want to pass, you can pass. That's no problem if
Okay.
you don't. All right. So you ready to go? All right. Let me put
Yeah.
2 minutes on the clock here. All right. Ready? All
Okay.
right. So pre-game, halftime, or post-game?
Halftime.
Halftime. Okay. United Supermarket, Koi Supermarket, Piggly Wiggly, or Central Market?
Koi.
Koi. All right. Rodeo or bonfire?
Rodeo.
All right. Dr. Pepper, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or something else?
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. All right. Journey or Foreigner?
Wow. Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin. That's what Jody said. Jody Stringer said Led Zeppelin. All right. Dairy Queen or Bevo's?
Devos.
Junior prom or senior prom?
Senior prom.
Band or drill team or cheerleaders?
Band.
Osborne's, TG&Y, or Gibson's?
TGNY.
All right. Running or lifting weights?
Running.
Miller's Quick Check or Allsup's?
Oh, Allsips.
All right. Lake Kemp or Pease River?
Probably Pease River.
Hardee's or Sonic?
Hardy's all the way.
All right. Uh, Senior play or one act play?
One act play.
All right. Pep rallies or bus trips?
Pep rallies.
All right. The cafetorium lunch or off campus lunch?
Off campus lunch.
Off campus. You left campus. Okay. Pizza Hut or Pizza Point?
Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut. Putt Putt or the skating rink?
Putt putt.
All right. The Plaza Movie Theater or the Drive-In Movie Theater?
Stories for both. Plaza movie theater.
Right. Uh, Pioneer or JVC or Craco?
Say that one again.
Pioneer or JVC or Craco? What's the stereo in your car?
Pioneer.
All right. All right. And so would you rather have licks for getting in trouble or would you rather have detention?
I never got in trouble. So,
All right, all right. Ding, ding, ding. All right, that's the answer. You did great. You got 100%. Like everybody gets 100% on these. That's great. All right. Did you have a car in high school?
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, what'd you
I
drive?
drove a brown pickup that was my brother's originally,
Yeah?
and it was a junker, but it would run like the wind.
Yeah.
Oh
What kind
yeah,
of pickup was it?
it
Ford,
was a
Chevy,
Ford
Ford,
F-150,
F-150?
and
Okay.
yeah, that was the one I drove for the majority of my high school years.
Okay. All right. All right. So you get your degree, I assume, in fine arts, yeah?
Yeah.
From Eastern New Mexico State. And so what happens then? Walk us a few years through the
Uh,
your
well, my
career
wife is
progression.
also going to Eastern New Mexico. She was a graduate of Vernon High School as well, Tracy G. Feller.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so we went to Eastern together, and we we weren't married at the time, but we went to Eastern to school together, and we got married a little later. Um, After she graduated, she had to do an internship down here in Denton, and
Okay.
so we moved to Denton to do that. I actually went to work for Sally Beauty Company, and I was there for 27 years.
Yeah. Sally
So
Beauty
yeah.
Company. Okay. But before we get into that, so did you and Tracy date in high school?
After
Until
I
college.
had already graduated, she was a senior when we started dating.
Okay.
I'd been going to VRJC,
Okay.
and I actually went up to see Chris. Chris Morton and I were gonna hang out and talk and do some stuff, and he had just gotten out of band practice,
Okay.
or maybe he was up there seeing somebody. I don't remember exactly, but I met her coming out of band practice, and we got to talking, and so we started dating, and we really liked each other, so we stuck together.
Okay. All right. All right. So she has this you said an internship in
Yeah,
Denton?
she got her degree in music therapy, so she went to music school at Eastern New Mexico
Okay.
on scholarship, and she got her degree in music therapy, and she came down to work at the Denton State Hospital,
Okay.
um, just outside of town here.
Right.
And there's some really good teachers there that she that they started the whole music therapy programs thing, and so she was able to work with them
Okay.
and finish her degree plan that way.
All right. And so you got a job with Sally Beauty Company. So tell me more about what is for those who may not know, what is Sally Beauty Company?
Sally Beauty Company is all your beauty needs for every occasion. They
Well, that
did
sounds
they
like a
did
slogan. Is that their slogan? That sounds so sloganish.
no, but it no, but it could be, yeah. They did stuff for professional hairstylists, and
Okay.
you know, you could get all your other stuff, curling irons, hair dryers. I worked in the
Okay.
distribution network, started out just as a job and ended up a career. I
Okay.
moved up. Eventually became the director of distribution, where I oversaw the on-site warehouse, and I worked with all the other warehouses throughout the United States, Canada,
Wow.
UK, and Germany.
Wow. Okay. So you had to go to all those places?
I did have to go to all those places and spend a
Wow.
lot of time in a lot of different countries.
A lot of airports, a lot of traveling time, I assume with that
Uh,
job?
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you talked about, the aviation thing. So how did your fine arts degree move into the Sally Beauty Company job?
Well, I would say you would think it doesn't translate, but I think the thing about theater arts is it teaches you how to deal with people in every setting. So I was able to use that to be able to communicate. It helped me more as I moved up and became a manager and eventually a director, because I had to deal with people in different roles. So speaking to people, talking to them on their level, um, understanding what they're talking about, empathizing with them, and still giving them the direction to go do what they needed to do to get the job done. I think the theater speech background was a very big part of that.
Okay. And so for 27 years you did that and all while living in Denton?
Yes,
Yeah. All right.
yes.
Okay. And so through those years, were you doing any kind of either drama activities or say on the side kind of thing?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have done several plays here in Denton. Um, I did that before my job kind of got in the way. But yeah, I did several plays here. I was actually cast in the first play they did when they opened our new theater here in Denton. They had remodeled an old movie theater, and made it into a stage theater. It's called the
Okay.
Campus Theater.
All
And I
right.
was in the inaugural play for that, which was pretty exciting to be able to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Um, and I've done many other plays here. Currently, I'm in a band. I have a band called Red Letters, and it's a cover band. We do classic rock, country, and we also do Christian praise.
Yeah.
So we kind of mix it up a little bit, have fun
Okay.
with that. And I've got a great group of musicians that, play with us, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. When did you start the band?
Couple of years ago, I had a friend at our church come up to me, and she was wanting to do an event at church where she said, I want to do a fish fry, but I want to do a themed fish fry. She said, I want to do almost British invasion. And she said, can you help me put together a playlist of like Beatles stuff? And I said, well, why don't we just put together a band? Because we knew several musicians in the community from being involved in the theater, and my wife's a musician. She's
Right.
done a lot of different bands. So we put together a Beatles band for this one event, and we had a great time. It was a lot of fun. And so we decided to stick together and make it something we did. So we call ourselves Red Letters.
Yeah.
Red Letters is for the letters of Christ in the Bible when he's speaking.
Okay.
And we call ourselves Red Letters Music with a Mission. So
Oh,
we like to get out there in the public. We like to do fundraising things. We perform, like I said, classic rock, country.
yeah.
We also mix in the praise music, and say,
Good.
this is what we're about. You
Right.
can be, you can do all these things. There's one doesn't exclude you from the other.
Right. Right.
And it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great time. Got to play with a lot of great people. So
Yeah. And what kind of events does your band play at?
we've done a lot of fundraisers for groups that are trying to make money. There's Women to Women Resource Center. We've done things for different groups in Denton. It's all these different
Okay.
fundraising groups in Denton. Hearts for
Okay.
Homes, which go out and assist elderly people repair their homes, or redo things. They've even built homes for some of these elderly people who can't afford to do these things for themselves, or
Okay.
are unable to, whether it's money or physical issues that are
Yeah.
keeping them from doing these things.
Oh,
And
that's
not
great.
only do we do these events, but then we get involved some with some of these charities, and we've actually gone out and helped do some of this stuff.
Oh, that's great. Uh, okay. When after that, you said 27 years you're with Sally Beauty? Yeah. 23,
What's that?
27. How many years with Sally Beauty again?
Sally Beauty, I was there 27 years, and then I went to R.R. Donnelly for a couple of years, and then COVID came around and they downsized. They were looking at closing that plant. They downsized dramatically. I was one of the newer people there running their distribution network.
Yeah.
And so I moved on from there after COVID, and I said, you know what? I've had enough. So
Yeah.
we're doing well. We don't need to work. I'm not going to work. I'm going to
Yeah.
retire. So
All
I
right.
officially retired, and now I get to play music with my friends, and do charity events and see my grandkids, and
Yeah.
that's life's beautiful.
Great. It is beautiful. It sounds wonderful. So what year did you retire? Was it in 2021-ish? 22? I mean,
Uh, 21, yeah,
21?
officially. Yeah,
Okay,
after
officially.
after after the COVID thing, I kind of looked out there, looked at the landscape, and that's when I just, my wife and I sat down, we looked at our finances, and we're like, we're fine.
Hmm.
We don't need this. And so she was still working at Texas Women's University. She's still technically working there part-time, but she's
Yeah.
also retired.
Okay.
She just stays in there a little bit. But
Yeah.
yeah, we decided we wanted to enjoy ourselves. So we've spent our time with our grandkids, with our band, and traveling the world. So
Out in the world. Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about some of your activities since then. So, how many kids do you have?
I have three kids. I have two daughters and one son.
Okay.
My oldest daughter is a teacher at Prosper Middle, or
Hmm.
Cockrell School. It's
Okay. All
elementary,
right.
actually.
In Prosper. Okay.
Yeah. My middle daughter works for Norton Rose Fulbright. She's a corporate lawyer.
Wow.
And my son is a musician, so we just hope he's, surviving.
Yeah, 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 yeah. All right. And then how many grandchildren do you have?
We have three grandkids. We have two boys and one girl,
Okay.
and
All
they are
right.
delightful.
Isn't it amazing the grandchildren how that can I don't want to say change you, but it's so different than from raising kids, yeah?
Well, it is because when you're raising kids, you're responsible for every little thing, and you
Yeah.
you you love them, but you worry about them, and that never goes away, right? But
Right,
with
right.
the grandkids, you get to do all the loving and not as much of the worrying, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's great. And so you talked about traveling the world. So where have you been? I know you talked about with work,
Um,
you're in Germany
well,
and other
obviously,
places.
working wise, I spent a lot of time in Canada. I went through a lot of different spots up in Canada. I worked in Mexico um, for quite a while, putting in a warehouse down there. I did the UK, up around Manchester mostly.
Yeah.
I did Scotland, Ireland, um, just traveling. We've done Germany, we've done Hungary.
Wow.
We did a Mediterranean cruise not long ago, where we went to Greece and Turkey and Crete and Rome. And actually, we've been to Rome three times. I love
Wow.
Rome. It's like a big
Yeah.
museum,
Yeah. Yeah.
beautiful country, lovely people. So we've done that a few times. Oh gosh, where else have I been? Lots of places.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh.
We're looking at doing another trip to Germany next year and maybe another cruise. The kids are wanting to do a Disney cruise of the Mediterranean, so we're looking at
Oh,
maybe doing that with them.
okay. That
So
sounds great. So what has fatherhood uh and grandfatherhood taught you about life?
expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
Um, every kid's different, every family's different. You have your ups and downs, but it's all a joy and it's all a gift from God.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. Uh, and so when you look at your world travels, what are some of the most beautiful or inspiring places you've been to, specific location?
Well, obviously Italy, Tuscany is gorgeous. It's rolling hills and beautiful landscapes. Um, the UK is a beautiful country. It's very green. UK, Ireland, Scotland, they're all very green. Now you have to deal with the weather, and
Yeah.
it's a different feel there with the rain and everything. But it's very green, very beautiful country. The people in Portugal are amazing. I love Portugal. We
Yeah.
just recently did Portugal and Spain back to back, and two countries right next to each other that are both very different, but
Mm,
both very beautiful in their own way.
mhm.
And we love that trip. So I can't really say I've been to a country that I haven't enjoyed in one way or another. They all offer a unique landscape or a unique people. Hungary, we've got friends there. We had gone over and done a English language camp over there with our church.
Mm,
And so we got to know these kids. And then we invited these kids over to our country to spend a week here with us and let them see what we did in America, how we lived our lives. And
mhm.
then we had the good fortune of one of these couples of one of these two kids decided to get married, and they invited us to the wedding. And
Wow.
I will say you've never lived until you've experienced a Hungarian wedding. It went on all day and almost all night. It ended at about 4 a.m. So
Wow.
it was wild. It was wonderful. It was great. And it was a rare privilege to be able to be there and experience it.
Yeah, that's amazing. All right. So what are some big risks that you've taken in your life?
Big risk. I mean, I think having kids is always a big risk. Having
Yeah, yeah.
getting married is a big risk. I think just the fact that my wife and I moved to Denton, really not knowing anything, not having anything really set up in advance, was a huge risk. And we were blessed to have people that we knew here. I have family here in the area, So getting down here and creating a life here in Denton was a huge risk. Standing up in front of people I didn't know and auditioning for a show in Denton where they didn't know me from Adam. That first time you have no chips already in the game.
Yeah.
You're starting from scratch. That's a big risk. And so I think everything worthwhile is starting with a big risk, putting a band together and going out and doing that.
Mhm.
You never know what you're going to get when you're in front of people. And so
Right.
that's every time you step on stage, that's a big risk you take. And you have to be tough sometimes
Yeah.
to deal with that.
Yeah. And these risks, so how have they impacted you or taught you about life in terms of taking the risk and dealing with the outcome of that?
I think it's knowing God's with you, having that faith
Hmm.
that no matter what I do, I may fall down, but it's not gonna end me. I'm gonna be able
Yeah.
to stand up and dust myself off and go forward. I
Yeah.
think Vernon taught me that too. I mean,
Yeah.
going through high school, it's not always easy. And
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to be tough and you just have to stand up and dust yourself off and move forward, you know?
Yeah. 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 All right. Was there a day for you that marked the end of childhood and you said, okay, now I'm a grown up? What's that day for you?
The day my mom died.
Mm. When was that?
Um, it's been a few years now. Um, but she had had cancer when we were younger, and she
Mm.
made it through that and was able to raise all of her kids and got to meet almost all of her grandkids. Um, and she finally had a recurrence. And yeah, the day I knew it was time to be an adult was the day she passed away. And I was in the room holding her hand,
Mm.
and and I sang to her.
Mm.
And
That's
that was
great.
a tough day, but that was the day I had to be a man and make a decision.
Yeah. And I tell people, some people don't want to be in that room. And I've been in that room when my mom passed away with my sister. And it's a moving experience it's a gift to get that experience. Yeah, the reason is not great. You don't like it, but
Yes.
to be there it's important, I think.
Yes.
Uh,
I will say, as hard as it was, I wouldn't have given anything to not be there. I mean,
right.
I'm like what you're saying. It was very meaningful
Yeah.
and very painful for a while.
Sure.
But now I look back on it as a very positive experience, and like you said, I think that's where I really became an adult,
Mm.
mature, and okay, there's decisions we have to make that we don't want to make sometimes,
Yeah.
but we do it for the right reason.
That's right. All right. So what have been your biggest either personal or professional milestones? You look back on your life and think, okay, I can plant a flag here because of this and that led you to where you are now. What are
Well,
those
I mean,
milestones?
I think I've been blessed to have a lot of success. When I got into the theater, when I did that, I got a lot of success. I was successful in that, in doing that. I got recognition. At work, I got recognition. I think that's important, but that's not the be all end all. So I think to me, the thing I'm most proud of is when I look at my family
Mm.
and see where they are and see what they've been able to accomplish in their lives and being a big part of that.
Yeah. When you think about, you mentioned successful, when you think about success and your definition of that when you're in high school, uh, has that changed at all? Is success, what does success for you look like now versus when you were in high school?
Well, I think success in high school, you look at, how am I doing? Where am I in the class? How are my grades? How many friends do I have? You count those things, right? It's kind of like a tally board you throw up there. I think the difference now that I've learned is it's not about the tally board. It's not about what I've accomplished. It's who I've affected in my life.
Mm.
And I think when you can make a positive impact on people, that's the greatest thing you can do.
Yeah. All right, well said. All right. Let's see. Is there any when you look back to your life, any tough season of life or a mistake that you made? You thought, I could what am I learning from this? Anything like that that you'd be willing to share?
Yeah, I mean, there have been tough seasons. Going through that illness with my mom was
Mm,
very tough, and at that time there were things going on at Sally Beauty with some downsizing, and
mm,
I was overseeing this warehouse, and I was having to let people go that had worked for me for years, and those are challenging times, and it was a lot of stuff piling up on my shoulders. But that I think was when I really realized how much God was there for me, how much my church family was there for me, and how much my real family was there for me because they got me through it.
yeah,
And I learned a lot there about it's not about me, it's about everybody around me and how they impact
yeah,
what I do in life.
yeah. And how old were you when your mom first was diagnosed with cancer?
I was in the second grade
Second
when
grade.
she was first diagnosed with cancer.
Wow. Okay. All right. Um, you talked about these relationships that you've had, for since high school. Are there any friendships that either stayed with you or that you've gone away? But what has that taught you about in terms of the relationships that you've maintained and those that you've lost over the years?
Well, I mean, um, I think the relationships I have with a lot of my friends through high school have remained important to me. Um, Specifically, people like Chris Martin. He and I did some speech things together and got to be very good friends. Um, Stephen Russell, a good friend of mine. Um, you know, those are always impactful. All these people in my life. One of the greatest blessings I had was when I turned 60. My kids went out and threw me a big party. I had no idea what was going on. And when I walked into my backyard, not only were all my friends here from the Denton area, but a large number of my friends like Chris and Stephen and Judy Russell and all they were all there.
Yeah.
And I don't find myself speechless very often, but I couldn't say anything. I was totally surprised and shocked and amazed and I very much remember just hugging their necks and not wanting to let go because while
Yeah.
we talk and we see each other on Facebook, getting to see each other live is not as easy anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we all have our own lives, and so that was a true blessing, and I look back on that party very fondly because that was also the last time I got to see one or two of those friends
Mm.
because they passed away, and I was on the Mediterranean cruise, and I got a text from Chris Morton, and Judy Russell had passed away,
Mm.
and when you're in the middle of the ocean and you lose a friend like that, you feel pretty helpless.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I had people around me that loved me and cared for me, and they just kind of wrapped me in their arms and got me through that experience.
Yeah. That's great. Great to have good friends like that. All right. So, how would you say Vernon shaped you in your life?
I think it gave me a good foundation. Um, it gave me expectations of myself. Uh, it taught me how to go out into the world and not be afraid. And I don't think you can take those lessons away from anybody. I mean, I think they're very important in how you live your life.
Mhm. What was you talked about being a shy kid and having grown up as a shy kid as well. You don't come across as shy to me anymore. And some people say I can be outgoing, but I'm somewhat reserved depending on the situation. What do you think that shyness came from?
I think it comes from having three siblings who were out there and
Mm,
growing up in the shadow of Kim, she was a big deal in high school.
Yeah.
And you grow up under those shadows, and it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give it for anything. I loved it, but
Right.
yeah, it was tough. And so there's expectations there, and how do you meet those expectations? And I had to find my own path. I mean, and that's what I did. So
Yeah. Yeah. So when you talk about expectation, like there's a certain standard, like do I can't live up to, I'm not maybe athletic like she
oh yeah,
was,
yeah. I mean,
or, you know.
Kim was the athlete.
Hmm.
She was the athlete, and she was a very good athlete.
Hmm.
I was never that into the athlete side of it. I
Right.
like to do the I like to play football. I like to play
Yeah.
basketball, but I never really got into it to that point where I was
Yeah.
wanting to do the competition so much. Did it in
Right.
junior high and
Right.
grade school, but yeah, when I got into high school, I wanted to go a different direction.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe it's because I didn't think I could live up to what she had already created. I don't know,
Hmm.
but I felt like I had to find my own path, and
Okay.
uh, and I think I did a lot of soul searching through high school, figuring out what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be. And that's where the theater part of it came in, and
Yeah.
the speech.
Right.
And it was a release for me. You can create a character and you're no longer Kevin.
Right. Right.
You're up there being a character instead, and I could just do whatever I wanted with that. And
Yeah.
I think that definitely helped me to get over that shyness and that reticence
Yeah.
that a lot of people would have seen in me.
Yeah. Okay. Is there something about your story that we don't see on the surface that you want people to know?
I am who I am, and I am who I
Okay.
am because God made me that way.
Uh,
I've got a beautiful wife, beautiful kids, beautiful grandkids, and a lot of great friends, and I think that's all a testament to what God's done for me, and I give all the glory to Him. I mean,
yeah. That's great. All right. That's great. Uh, and so, okay, if you had to write a letter to your high school self, what would you tell Kevin, knowing what you know now?
stay centered, stay tough, and it's all worth it in the end.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Very good. All right. All right. Well, Kevin, are there any parting words or anything that's pressing on your heart that you want to share, the things that I haven't asked you about?
Yeah, Vernon High School was a great experience. Um, I have a lot of good acquaintances from that. I mean, we weren't close friends in high school, but I knew you, you knew me. Uh, there's a lot of people like that, and I finally remember that. I think the friends I made there are important in my life, and I've always been important in my life. And I think growing up in Vernon made me a better person in the long run. And my experience in junior high and high school, while sometimes painful, was well worth it. So,
Well, very good. Well, I'm happy that we had this opportunity to talk. Like you said, we're close in high school, but we knew of each other.
yeah,
Uh, and since we became friends on Facebook, because some of these folks, I'll say, hey, let's become friends. We can I can communicate with you somehow.
yeah,
And so, just seeing some of the pictures, you just seem to have uh, a uh, a thirst for life and experiencing life, and like you've been all over the world and family. I know you said you recently had a family reunion, I think. Just
oh, yeah,
that family is important to you, and the way that God has worked in your life, and it's touching to hear how good life is. And you seem to have a very positive outlook on on life. Whatever God throws our way, you seem to just kind of roll with the punches, so to
yeah.
speak. That's a
I think
terrible
you
way of
have
saying
to.
roll with the punches.
Yeah,
But
there's the Joe Walsh song, and life's been good to me.
yeah,
And that's a contradictory kind of song. He talks about all the problems in his life, and he
yeah,
still says, "Life's been good to me."
yeah,
That's been my life. I mean, I've had challenges and I've had highs and lows, but and the bottom line is life's been good to me.
yeah, yeah. Very good. Well, it's great to talk with you. Maybe we can keep in touch.
Yeah.
Uh, Maybe if you ever go to the reunions.
It depends. The last time we had a reunion, I was actually out of the country working,
Hmm.
so I wasn't
Okay.
able to attend the last one. So I hope to be able to attend the next one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was able to go to the all 80s. We had just gotten
Okay.
back from Italy, and so we were able to make the all 80s reunion. Not the last one, but the first one,
Yeah.
and
I think that's
that
the
was
one
a
I
kick.
missed. I missed that one.
It was a lot
That
of fun. It was a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
So
It's one of those where when you have siblings, I think my brother and my sister made that and they're like, "Well, where's Ray?" Like, well, I can't remember why I didn't go. I just didn't go. Uh I have a certain issue with some of the parameters of that group of 80s. When you say decade of 80s, this is the Ray uh the hard edge that I have sometimes. If you say 80s, that's 80 to 89. But we
yeah,
allow, 79, 78, at that point, you have to have a cutoff. Where do you stop? What
you
about
have to. Yeah,
74? They might want to be in there. What about,
yeah.
92? They might want to be in there. Like, well, where do you cut? It's 80s.
It's very
Sorry.
well, and I mean, I know like I had all these friends who were younger, and
Yeah.
so to me that was a great way to do the reunion. I got to see a lot of my friends that I
Yeah.
really hung out with a lot. But yeah, you're exactly right. Where's the cutoff? Because I have my sister's friends that I'm very
Yeah.
close to still that I would have loved to have seen at that reunion. They were 79, so
Yeah, exactly.
it's a
And so
challenge.
yeah, because that's who our seniors were, and so our class had later folks, and so those 89 class they had people below them, so they might want to
But
hear that.
yeah, yeah,
So maybe it's a 4 year. Don't call it the 80s then if it's not the 80s.
that's right. That's
That's
right.
me
A
being
decade
just
and a half. A decade and a
yeah,
half.
the half 70s, all 80s, and part of 90s maybe. Let's call it that.
Yeah, yeah. There
All
you
right.
go. There you go.
All right. Well, thanks so much for your time, Kevin. It's really been
You
a
bet.
pleasure talking with you, and we'll just let everybody know that I'm trying to reach out to folks to continue this. I know we got several hundred something people to talk to, and I'm working on it. And so, thanks for listening to this episode of In a Flash. The years go by. We'll see you all down the road, and God bless you all. Thanks, Kevin.
God bless you, and thank you for doing this, Ray.
All right. Thanks. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of In a Flash, The Years Go By podcast. If today's conversation reminded you of home, of Lion Pride, or of a chapter in your own life's journey, you're in the right place. Be sure to subscribe, share the episode with another Lion, and keep spreading that Vernon Lion spirit wherever you are. And if you'd like to be a guest or nominate someone with a story worth telling, reach out. We all would love to hear from you. And until next time, remember, Lions, Lions, we back you, says the class of '82.